All places the scene tonight of the Blackhawks against the Edmonton Oilers. It's a high-definition telecast coming your way from our friends in Sylvania. As we bring you inside and give you the degree top protection goaltending matchup tonight. Marty Turco in goal for the Blackhawks against the Oilers. Gave up 4 goals on 12 shots, was lifted after the first period. It's the last time he played against this team. Looking to make amends for that. And Nikolai Khabibulin, Stevie told you a little bit about his struggles. In the last 127 minutes he's played, he's given up 18 goals. I mean, that's just dramatic. But against the Blackhawks, he's been great. 2 wins and 5 goals against in the 2 games. And we're underway now here in Alberta. The puck is dumped back into the Oilers zone. Peckham has to chase backboard, able to beat Hossa there, and the whistle sounds.
This period of Blackhawks hockey is brought to you by Toyota. Moving forward.
The Lemonheads lineups, starting lineups for the Blackhawks are at the top of your screen. So check those out as the road trip gets underway. And David Bolin gets ready for a face-off against Sam Gagner. Gagner wins it. It goes back to Peckham. Back into the front of the net. Gagner went down against Bolin, and Bolin chipped it up the boards to Sharp. Peckham will put it back in. Turco plays it ahead to Patrick Sharp. He put it on the stick of Bolin. Dave Bolin steps in with a wrist shot and a blocker save by Khabibulin. It then went out of play.
Nice awareness there by Dave Bolin, realizing that the Edmonton Oilers defense had backed off, so he used him as a screen. A good shot on Nikolai Khabibulin. You take what they give you, and you see the Edmonton Oilers backing well off of the line. Routine save for Nikolai Khabibulin.
Horkoff and Taves. Taves got the draw, but has to. Robertson has to chase back. Cleared it to Kane. Patrick Kane. Kane's the line with a long wrist shot. That deflected up off the glass. Horkoff challenged by Taves. He took it away. Came in front. Ooh, Stallberg just couldn't corral it. And the puck cleared back the other way. Hemsky circles. Horkoff will drop it back. Ryan Whitney or Tom Gilbert, who's got some skating room. Horkoff stripped of it at center. Puck then carried in by Gilbert. Centered it. Here's Everly. Put it in front. Oh, and he just failed to connect with Hemsky. Was wide open the doorstep. They wanted to redirect, but it didn't work out.
Turned into a nice 3-on-2 because Gilbert had jumped up on the play, found the trailer, and that pass in front to Hemsky just missed. It went off the heel of his stick.
Now Bickle rolled it to the neutral area. Gilbert Brule steps back in. That's before PRV. Chipped it in behind. Cogliano is sandwiched on the end board. PRV to the corner. And the puck loose on the boards. Taken by Bell. His long shot kicked aside by Turco. Rebound is going to be held in. Here's a long one. Foster. He can bring it, but he shot it wide. Bell kept it in. Lifted it into the corner. Mason Cullimore with a ring around. Bickle couldn't catch up with it. Held in momentarily. The Hawks then cleared. Here's Sean Bell, who's been in the American Hockey League for over 300 games. Just got the call-up. Getting a chance to play with the Oilers tonight. Taylor Hall doesn't have any help trying to get to the net. Shooting. And a save by Turco.
That was funny. It looked like Hall maybe had some room to the outside, but decided to take it into the middle. Got his shot off, but he would have been better served to take it wide.
He's got it again. Taylor Hall put it into the middle. Here's the drive, and Gagner missed the net. Trying to go high to the glove, but shot it over the top. Kopetsky the other way. For Brouwer. Weak wrister is handled by Khabibulin. Holding.
Well, we know one thing about the Edmonton Oilers because we've seen them a couple of times already, and that's that they have speed. And if you turn the puck over the neutral ice area, they'll come back with plenty of it. Tom Rennie not happy with the way his team finished on the road. Talked about getting a little more grit in the lineup, a little more abrasiveness. That's part of the reason that Sean Bell was called up from the minors, and J.F. Jacques making his first appearance this year.
Well, the puck pushed away from Jomerson back to the center ice. And Taves able to carry it back in. Taves is checked. Kane then checked as well on the inboards. It's Hjalmarsson keeping it in front to Taves. Big save, Hobby Bullen. Taves jammed it loose. Where is it? Came back to Taves, and Hobby Bullen denied that turnaround. Hemsky then checked by Stallberg and rolled loose. Seabrook kept it in there along. Clipper goes all the way to Hobby Bullen. He held it, so a real good sequence for the Taves line here.
First good pressure of the night by the Blackhawks. Jonathan Taves with a couple of shots. Watch them make the blue line, and again, Edmonton backing off, respecting the speed of the Chicago Blackhawks. And there's the turnover right there. Good keep-in by Nicholas Hjalmarsson, and two quick shots by the captain, Jonathan Taves.
Big point, put a pass outside the line. So Keith regroups. Bolin then mishandles. Cogliano works his way in deep shooting. Caught off by Turco. Cogliano's in behind. It rolled away to Sharp. Looks for Bolin. It's red. Stolen to Cogliano. Poke check. Turco saved himself a problem. And now Point kicked it loose. A turnover. Comes back to the net. And the Hawks with some dreadful times on this shift, turning it over on several occasions.
Yeah, the first one was Patrick Sharp, an ill-advised pass up the middle. It was in the skates of Dave Bolin, and then shortly thereafter, it was a kick pass by Boynton. It ended up on the stick in the slot of an Edmonton Oilers player, as Dave Bolin ends up taking the penalty. So Edmonton gets the first power play on the evening.
They've got one goal their last 4 games on the power play. Edmonton 1 out of 12. Hawks gave up 2 in their last outing. Here's a long shot going wide from Whitney. Came back to Taves. Trying to get it to Keith, but it missed him to Penner. Austin Penner worked it loose. Foster tees up a blast. That was deflected wide off Seabrook's stick. And then a good stick for Taves got it out.
It's a good thing he got a piece of it. In fact, that broke the stick of Brent Seabrook. He was screening his goaltender. I don't know whether Turco saw that. Seabrook got enough of it.
Now the Oilers, Hemsky. Does not have a goal in his last 7 games, Alex Hemsky. Just 3 assists. They need more production than that from one of their top 6. Whitney is their top scorer. In fact, the defenseman who does have a goal, but he's got 14 assists. That is the leading point producer in the Oilers team. Number 6 in blue, and he's got it again. And Whitney moved it ahead. Everly looking to go wide. Brings it around. Brouwer hacked at it. It's held in by Whitney. Now Horkoff works a little give and go. On Horkoff to Ryan Whitney. Sends it across. Foster looks rink wide. Horkoff to Whitney. He center tip. Oh, and Everly with a point blank opportunity. Tipped it up high. Went off the netting. And so the whistle.
Well, that's a couple of point blank opportunities from right in front. Power play for Edmonton still doesn't have a shot on net, but watch 14 off to the left side of the net. The redirection just up over the net. Actually got the netting in behind the net. Fine young rookie with some pretty good numbers so far this year. 11 points on the season.
Here's another good young rookie, Taylor Hall. Who turned 19 years of age 3 days ago. Now the puck fought for on the boards. Everly rolling in deep. Hemsky's there. Or I should say Horkoff. The puck bounced loose. And here comes Taves. He's got some skating room. That will finish the Edmonton power play. Both teams at full strength. Patrick Kane able to settle down a bouncing puck. Kane trying to spin it loose. Bolin on his backhand. Forced to the boards. Now Sharp. Center to Kane. Didn't get a lot on it, but a deep save required by Hobby Bolin, and he made it. Boynton's long one is wide. Too Sharp. In behind, it's Bolin looking for Kane. Patrick Kane backhands it across to Nick Point. He held it in a long wrister, then floats wide, and then came in front. Cogliano nearly turned it over, but the puck cleared by Brule out of the zone.
Big keeping by Nick Point right on the blue line. He gets it down deep. As you mentioned, Cogliano dangerous play in front of his net, but it worked out for him.
Here's Jack Skilly looking to Dowell. Taken away by Jim Vandermeer. And Brule bounced it to center ice, and J.F. Jacques, who just came back from the minor leagues. back at center. Seabrook. There's it ahead. Dow couldn't hold it, but it goes to Bickle to Dow. His shot deflecting out of play. 7 minutes have been played here in the opening frame. Scoreless in Edmonton. Dramatic. There's Sean Bell. We told you he spent a lot of time in the American Hockey League. Here's the reason he just got called to the Edmonton Oilers. Near the end of their road trip on Sunday in New York, there's Colin Fraser getting run over by Sean Avery. To his credit, Ladislav Schmid came to challenge Avery. Avery said, "I don't want to fight." Then he did that. Not surprising to, and Schmid, again to his credit, said, "I should have been more ready. He told me he didn't want to fight, then he did that. He should have had to go through my stick to get to me." But Schmid suffering a concussion and unavailable tonight, probably for another week or so. So Sean Bell getting a chance to play his 10th ever NHL game tonight.
Yeah, it's funny because I talked to Colin Fraser this morning, and he did say, yes, it was a good hit, and yes, I wasn't going to do anything about it, but I was glad that Schmid came over. He wasn't happy with the way, and you explained it perfectly, Pat, that Avery basically said, "I'll fight next shift," and then dropped his gloves and dropped them.
He suckered him.
Yeah.
Who would watch him for a while wouldn't be surprised, but Schmid clearly was, and now we'll miss some games as a result. Turnover to Taves, looking to walk in front. Here's the shot. Oh, he tried to go to the glove, just missed it. Now Kane working the boards. Horkoff won the puck, but Seabrook kept it in. Stahlberg. He's up a blast. Javi Bullen kicks it aside. Stahlberg again for Kane. Patrick Kane. Center one. Stahlberg touched it toward Taves. It didn't get there. Went off the leg. And another really strong shift here for the Taves line. Finally, the Oilers get possession, and Everly got it out.
It all started with a needless turnover by the captain, Sean Horkoff. Just a silly play inside his own blue line.
Skis long one, blocked away by Turco. And Sharp heads up the ice. His rink wide though tip. And back comes Hall trying to catch Oxen and change. Hall to the middle. Didn't get over the puck, seemed to roll on him as he's ready to shoot. That should have been a great chance. And he shot it wide. Penner now. He mishandles. And Hossa settles things down for Chicago. Duncan Keith pressured by Penner. Cleared around a point. He'll go high off the glass. Hit hard by Hall as he did that. Now Boynton again to Keith. Hawks changing as Jim Vandermeer goes back. PRV sends it deep. Turco plays it around the boards. Here's Curtis Foster for the Oilers. Sean Bell. His pass ahead for Brule. Back goes Cullimore. Brouwer pressured by Bell. He kicked it loose. Pisani drove it to Campbell. Now into the zone. Kopecky. A wrister handled by Javi Bullen to Brouwer. Brouwer shoots one. Shot it wide. It goes to Kopecky. He'll let it go. Javi Bullen a stick save. Pisani battles with Foster. Cleared around the boards, back to Chicago territory.
Good chip by that fourth line now for the Chicago Blackhawks. Troy Brouwer, nice little chip in his own zone, gets the puck out easily to get some pressure in Edmonton's zone.
Bouncing puck for Shock, and a puck turnover. Good recovery by Campbell after Cullimore had a misplay. Campbell bailed him out with a good stick. Skilly the other way. Sends it in behind. Gilbert for the Oilers. Hit hard, but Bickle's check results in the puck getting back out of the zone, and here comes J.F. Jacques. Ripper hit the side of the goal to Brian Bickle. Now captured by Boynton to Bickle. Puck's changing on the go. Halfway through the first period, there have been 9 shots by Chicago, just 4 credited to the Oilers. But most of the good scoring chances for Edmonton, they missed the net. Here's Everly. Jordan Everly looking rink wide. Held in by Vandermeer, up the boards. Horkoff trying to shield it away from Chalmerson. Good support, though, in the Hawks. Stahlberg heads out of the zone. Kind of passed it to himself around Vandermeer. He did it. Now Seabrook. Taves trying to center. Kane well covered. Patrick Kane. Pushed by Peckham. Duchesne good free with Seabrook on it. Hot pass for Taves. Jumped away from Kane and Everly able to clear it out.
This little battle going on behind the plate between Theo Peckham and Patrick Kane. In fact, Peckham was being real tough on both Jonathan Taves and Kane. Kane ended up knocking him to the ice.
Now the Oilers from their own end. Bell. Checked by Sharp. Now they'll dump it in. Ryan Campbell. 4 points in 7 games since he's returned to the lineup. This puck shot back the other way, going to be icing against Chicago.
Well, tonight's Illinois Lottery Powerball jackpot is $35 million. That's twice what it cost to build Edmonton's Rexall place back in 1974. What would you do with $35 million? Tell us now at csnchicago.com. I would think this has to be one of the oldest buildings now in the NHL, with Pittsburgh having built themselves into a ring.
I still like this place, though. Here's Sharp moving in. I like because we got a great seat. Here's a bouncing puck in front of the net. Campbell trying to reach it. Just couldn't quite do it. Hossa did. Marian Hossa dropped it to Campbell. Now a takeaway by Cogliano. And get it back to the line, but a good stand-up play. Jammed up the Russian. Keith wants Pisani. Dropped it to Sharp. He got it stripped away. Now the Oilers, Payarvi brings it around. Frazier knocked down from behind by his good buddy Troy Brouwer. No friends when the puck is dropped.
They were with each other last night. Brent Seabrook was there too over at Rangers place.
So British Columbia boys. Pisani dropped it to Point. Opetsky trying to take it away from Peckham. Yes, Pisani did. Opetsky with a tough angle shot handled by Javi Bullen. And it's cleared.
Brouwer tried to pick that out of midair, and somebody got a stick on it right at the last second.
And nobody knows where that puck went after on a easy dump and took a funny hop off a partition apparently and went out of play. With just over 6 minutes remaining in a scoreless first period, we may be buddies after the game. Not while it's going on. 9 points out of a possible 16, so or out of a possible 12, I should say, at the end of that campaign. Well, quite often this long trip, whether it's 5, 6, or 7 games, looms rather large. And the way this regular season has started at the quarter pole being a 500 club, this team, I think, this year, this trip actually takes on even more importance. And I think they've got, I mean, the worst they could be is 500. I think they need to come home over 500 in this 6-game swing. Kane working in deep, centered it. Seabrook in tight. Good save. Javi Bullen, rebound, juggled. They score! Javi Bullen thought he had it. He did not. And Jonathan Taves, who didn't have a point in 4 games, pounds at home. Where was he? In the tough areas. It's one.
Goal. Great job, too, by Brent Seabrook. Watch him move in from his point position. Deep slot. There's the shot. And watch number 19 stay with him. Takes the cross-check across the forearms. Gets it on the backhand. And as you mentioned, Pat, Javi Bullen thinks he's getting ready to cover this thing up. Taves saw the loose puck. He stayed with it. Scores the goal and gives the Blackhawks that important 1-0 lead.
The Chicago goal scored by number 19.
The Hawks have had a real good edge in scoring. Have the lead. Although, as we said, most of the really good Oilers chances, and there have been a couple, they have not hit the net on. Here's Hossa into the zone, trying to go rink wide. Campbell up on the rush, shooting. Good save by Javi Bullen. Rebound,
D getting involved a little more. Now the second time that Campbell's jumped up on the play.
Tullamore to Hossa, whose one-timer is sticked away by Javi Bolin. Bolin backhands it out to the line. Campbell there. David Bolin slipped it to Marian Hossa. A Sharp for the shot and a save by Javi Bolin. Rebound held in by Campbell. Clearing attempt batted back to Penner. Finally Foster controls for the Oilers.
Just getting back to that road trip last week, they were 1-1. They've won their previous 4 games at the United Center. They won 8 victories in a row.
Down for Skilly to the net. He shoots, shoulder save, Javi Bolin. And the rebound to the Oilers. Agliano with a counterattack rush, gains the zone. Put it across Brule, shot, good block by Duncan Keith. And back comes Jack Skilly. Skilly into the zone. Couldn't get away from Peckham. Dow picked it up to point. The RV jammed it out of the zone. Ryan Bickle taken away by Vandermeer. Now Campbell at center. Pressured by Frazier. Fernando Pisani working the boards. Jones looked to dig it out. It jumped loose to Gilbert. His shot. Oh! Turco went to glove and whiffed, but the puck sailed wide. Now Jones from the corner. And it jammed free to Thomas Kopecky. Has had a point in the last 6 games, Kopecky. Sends this one behind the net. And Frazier for Edmonton. To Gilbert.
It's funny, the Edmonton Oilers that you mentioned have had their chance.
Oh, a turnover by Frazier, open side, Javi Bolin. Did he get a piece of that Pisani bid? He might have. It goes back to Tullamore, to Kane. Patrick Kane. Trying to work a little dipsy-diddle, works to give it go, but was stripped of it as he was ready to shoot. Good stick, Gilbert. And the Oilers. Well, there is a needless icing call. Wow, they wanted to change. That is a terrible play by Edmonton.
Had plenty of room to maybe skate it or even just a soft dump down the ice. Watch the turnover behind the net. And a great chance out front. Full possession of the puck. Turn it over. And 2 quick chances right in front earlier on. Nikolai Khabibulin, 17 shots, 16 saves.
Kane off the faceoff, Lynch snapped it off, but Khabibulin made a shoulder save. The Oilers able to get out. Jacquelon shot is tipped wide. Now they can make their change. Here's Taves.
What I was going to say is, I think the Edmonton Oilers have probably missed the net 6 times now, and throwing another 4 or 5 blocks for the Blackhawks. And that's 11 shots directed towards Turco. They just haven't hit him.
Everly put a pass behind Heskey. He had some good speed. A good feed might have given him a chance, but the pass was well off the mark. And the Hawks, Chalmerson dumped it in. 2 minutes left in the first, 1-0 in favor of the Hawks. Here's another turnover to Hossa. Marian Hossa. Checked by Vandermeer, who did well to rub him off. Hossa working hard. He's going to get it back. Hossa sends it to Bolin. Back door is Sharp, and the pass goes to Tullamore. His touch feed. Bounce to Hossa. 2 Oilers got to him. But they did get it out. Sharp to Hossa, right in. He fired. Hit the side of the net. Now Sharp for Bolin. Dave Bolin kicks to the stick. And Hossa there to help. He'll look toward the middle, trying to center. Tip and a save by Javi Bolin. And a penalty coming up. As there was some scuffling at the side of the net. Sharp had been upended. And it looks as if the Hawks may get a late first period power play. As the Oilers will be guilty of a penalty. Jonathan Taves has his 6th of the year, and the Hawks have the lead.
Hawks winning a lot of board battles, and as a result, they're getting chances in front of the net. Theo Peckham, number 49 for Edmonton. You see 3 cross-checks. Kindly called him for the last one. Gets a shot in the mouth, and I believe that was from Jim Vandermeer right at the very end.
The Hawks power play. 6 Out of their last 22, over 7 games, up among the best percentages in the league. Patrick Sharp up the boards to Kane. Kane down low, Taves. Now back to Seabrook. Hosa's touch pass. Ooh, just bounced away from Kane. They work the boards, and it's held in by Sharp. Hosa moves in. There's Taves. Backdoor is Kane. Oh, and the centering pass went in. Jonathan Taves was trying to go with the backdoor play. It was deflected into the Oiler net, and the Hawks have a 2-goal lead.
Right off the skate of Gilbert. He was looking for Patrick Kane on the far side. Slid it right through the crease. Number 77. Watch him in front. He's the right defenseman right now in front of the net. As he comes across, it goes off his skate and in. Would have been a tough pass for Patrick Kane anyway, being a left shot on the left side. But there it is, a bank shot. The power play now 3 for their last 5 opportunities over the last 4 periods.
Yeah, they were 2 for 4 the other night against Anaheim, and able to cash in their first
The
lead
Chicago goal scored on the power play by number 19, Jonathan Taves.
and Keith put it ahead to Marian Hossa.
Number 81, Marian Hossa.
He was checked. Gagne looks for Hall.
Time 19 minutes 14.
Taylor Hall able to bounce it to Sam Gagne.
Blackhawks goal
Gagne
scored
pulls
by
up.
Taves.
Rolled it to Penner.
Hossa.
Weston Penner wants Gagne. It goes back to the line. Here's a shot by Foster. Blocked by Keith. Rebound to the corner. Keith can to loose to Sharp. And the first period winds down. The Chicago Blackhawks, a dominant opening 20 minutes to start this trip. And they will take a 2-goal lead into the first intermission. The Blackhawks with 20 shots on goal. 2 by that man went in. The Edmonton Oilers credited with just 4 shots. They had more opportunities than that, but missed the net on several good opportunities. And Jonathan Taves with 2.
Question, how many games will the Blackhawks win on this circus trip? A for 6, B for 5, C for 4, or D for 3 or fewer? Text A, B, C, or D to 29653. And stick around for Jose Cuervo Blackhawks postgame live for final results, or visit csnchicago.com.
Welcome back inside Rexall Place here in Edmonton. Marty Turco faced only 4 shots on goal in the first period, but as we told you, most of their good chances, they did not hit the net. Tom Rennie, who is the 4th winningest coach in the history of the New York Rangers, had 164 wins when he was there, taking over this year behind the bench in Edmonton. And a team that we've documented that half of their wins have come against Chicago. They've had 2 wins in 5 weeks of play. And both of those were in the United Center. So clearly the Blackhawks realized they're going to do more than just show up if they're going to win this game. They had a dominant first period. Now we're underway in the second, which is brought to you by Allstate, Chicago's own good hands. Sharp rolled it loose. Hossa couldn't quite reach it. Patrick Sharp put it back around the board, taken by Dave Bowler. Now the Oilers' Penner resting skating room. Hall carries a long wrister into the glove of Turco. Probably at this point glad to get a feel for it.
Well, he went kind of cold, I think, in that first period. We saw him stretching before the start of this second period. Marty Turco, 2 losses in his last 2 games at Nashville and against Phoenix. His last win in Atlanta. That's the Atlanta Thrashers.
Patrick Kane. This line great for the Hawks in the first period. In fact, this guy was the pucker who's going to get it. Taves had a 5-shot first period. 5 shots is good for a game. He was credited with 5 in the first period alone. Icing here against the Oilers.
Well, especially Jonathan, because he's the kind of guy who likes to pass the puck. He's not really a guy who's a shooter, a greedy player with the biscuit, and he'd rather distribute than shoot, but shoot he did. Found the net twice. It's going to help the old shooting percentage.
An 8-shot period for the line. Dahlberg was credited with 1, and Kane with 2 in the opening frame tonight. Here's a turnover by Vandermeer to Kane. Ran it to Taves. The shot. He scored. Hat trick. Jonathan Taves snapped it home off a Edmonton turnover, and the Blackhawks 1:12 into the second have a 3-0 lead. Taves 3, Oilers 0.
There's a few hats coming down here at Rexall Place. A natural hat trick. 3 straight goals, all by that man, Jonathan Taves. And he just had a feeling today, coming off the ice. He said, I love the ice here in Edmonton. It's like playing outside. Great drop pass there. Patrick Kane with a sweet drop pass right into the wheelhouse. Kaner draws a man, drops it back, and Jonathan Taves just rips it past Nikolai Khabibulin, beats him on the glove side. Not often you see him smiling, but he's got a big grin on the bench.
Maybe I should continue to make the point that there's been a bunch of games where he hasn't gotten on the score sheet. It's a past game that 12 games out of the first 20 did not dent the score sheet. 3 goals in the first 22 minutes of play tonight.
It's funny though, Pat, you look at his career and he has been a notorious slow starter. And for whatever reason, it takes him at least a dozen, 15, 20 games to get going.
Well, he's going tonight. The entire line is, and really his teammates are as well. It's been a really, really solid first part of the game here for the visitors. But don't forget, it's a 60-minute contest. The Oilers have shown they can score. They scored 7 in the UC the first time they came there this year. But, they've also, of late, not just beaten, but lit up on a bunch of different opportunities. 25 goals against the last 4 games. So the territory a little bit too familiar for the Edmonton Oilers here of late.
Colin Fraser had a nice talk with him this morning. He's loving his playing time here in Edmonton. Obviously not happy with the way the team's been playing the last 4 games. And I asked him what his key was, or what the key was against the Chicago Blackhawks. And he said it's just sticking to the game plan. When they get into trouble, they're playing individualistic hockey. And he said for whatever reason against Chicago, they stick to the game plan. They're a little more desperate, and they've had some success thus far.
Well, and a new dad by 3 weeks, and in comes a sharp good save by Khabibulin. Great setup by Dave Bolin to give Patrick Sharp a one-on-one. Khabibulin able to glove it.
Yeah, remember that one should the Edmonton Oilers come back, because that had 4th goal written all over it. Glove side. Patrick Sharp can really rip it too. And Nikolai Khabibulin obviously took a lot of shots from Sharpie in practices. Had it read before he shot it.
Jones couldn't get it past Keith. Here's Hossa looking for Sharp. The redirect went up and out of play. And boy, this Oiler team, there's as many turnovers here as the Pepperidge Farm Bakery. Good heavens.
Well, and that guy, Tom Rennie's not going to be happy. And he talked about jam, he talked about emotion, but when you're not being pressured and you're basically giving the puck over to a team that doesn't really need any help in that area, you're not helping your cause. And, you know, as talented and as promising as this team will be, they've got to get some defensemen before this thing's going to work.
Almost had a miscue, but the Hawks come out. Patrick Kane for Stahlberg gaining the line. Victor Stahlberg looks to the late coming point, a shot and a save by Khabibulin. Rebound to the board. Stahlberg came up with now Kane. Patrick Kane left it for Jonathan Taves. He spins it to Stahlberg. A shot. Khabibulin stopped that. Rebound. Kane a hack. And that was blocked by Khabibulin.
Boy, that line working so well right now. They haven't played a lot together. Victor Stahlberg just promoted a few games ago, but they are showing instant chemistry.
Keith goes back. Duncan Keith, 1 assist in his last 6 games. This back Ahead, but deflects out of play.
Don't miss a minute of the action when the Blackhawks embark on the annual circus trip. Stop by the next City Road Watch at Mystic Celt when the Blackhawks take on the Calgary Flames at 8:30 on November 19th. Win tickets, merchandise, and more. Visit ChicagoBlackhawks.com for more info.
Yarby sends this deep. Cullimore back. Buckle. Send it out of the zone. Bell. Now starts the Oilers away. By Brule as he dumped it. Campbell on it. Ryan Campbell floats it off the leg of Pisani. Now it came free along the boards, held it by Chalmerson, whose shot is blocked. Vandermeer rings it around. Taylor Hall couldn't get it past Troy Brouwer. Gretzky couldn't hold the feed, though, and it winds up back in center. Seabrook. That is passed. Carried on by Kopetsky. Fernando Pisani. Rubbed off by big Dustin Penner. The Oilers Gagne cleared it to center. Hall into the zone. Gagne against Johnson. Now Seabrook's got it. Made a good pass and the Hawks get out. Patrick Sharp into the zone. Going rink wide, it tipped to Hossa. He shoots, and that was blocked out in front of the net. Held in by Boynton. His long pass never got to Sharp. And the puck cleared back to center ice. Hawks with a miscue and a pass attempt that will result in an icing call. Well, Fernando Pisani played 7 years for the Oilers before coming to Chicago during the past offseason. And during one of the TV timeouts in the first period, they put his picture up on the board and gave him a welcome back. And he got a real nice ovation here from the Edmonton fans. So nice recognition by the Oilers for a guy who played here for quite a while and was part of a Stanley Cup Finals team. All the way to the championship round against Carolina, but did not win. I was talking to Ethan Morrow in Columbus earlier this season. He was part of that team as well, and I just commented on, the sluggish start of the Hawks and what a short off season it is when you go all the way and win the cup, and how difficult it is to get everything going early the following year. He says difficult. What do you think when you go all the way to the finals and lose?
That hurts.
A Hobby Bullen turnover resulted in a Hobby Bullen save, and the Hawks with a 3-0 lead.
Watch Comcast Sportsnet Blackhawk replays on demand with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Pat, you talked about going all the way and losing. That man went all the way and won, but it's still a tough road when you're playing so many high-pressure games in the playoffs, not to mention the Olympics, too, but he was playing against the Sedins in the Vancouver series, and against Thornton, Marlowe, and Heatley in the San Jose series, and then against the Philadelphia Flyers, it was Richards, Carter, and Gagne. So high-pressure, action-packed games, it's tough to get that energy level up again. I think he's starting to get there, but he'd be the first to tell you that he struggled a little bit to start. I think he's starting to come around, too.
Gets back to this one to Point. Made a good pass. Here comes Kane. Patrick Kane looks for Stauffer. The puck rolled as he was trying to make the feed, and that results in an offside call.
Blackhawks have done a great job breaking out their own zone. Patrick Kane with a goal and an assist his last game. That victory against the Anaheim Ducks. Both points on the power play. Just a little bit, not an overhaul, but just Marian Hossa moved up to the #1 unit along with Brent Seabrook, and it has worked wonders.
Yeah, they've scored a goal tonight. And among the many difficulties, score-play goal against. Yielded by the Edmonton Oilers. This is their 17th game. They've given up 23 power play goals against. So how are you going to win? Here's Patrick Sharp, and just escaped him. And Jones dumped it.
Well, it's gotten so bad, in fact, that normally, you know, when you talk about trades, you think about getting a guy who can score goals, or is a big defenseman. You're looking for a penalty killer, a guy who can win draws and kill penalties. And that's how desperate we've gotten here in Edmonton.
Yeah, the faceoff circle has been a real problematic area for the Oilers.
Well, I'm surprised a guy like Colin Fraser's only at 38 or 39%. And he was winning at least 50% of his draws in Chicago, but for whatever reason, not only he, all the centermen here in Edmonton have struggled.
Jordan Liberly pushed it forward. Seabrook back. Liberly kept it in. Payarvi it behind. Skilly reception on right wing, and up he comes. And then Cogliano turns back, but Skilly hit hard along the boards, and it's going to be a penalty against Jim Vandermeer. Boy, the last time these teams played, Vandermeer lit up a couple of Chicago forwards with good clean body checks, but he gets a penalty here.
Yeah, Jack Skilly in a vulnerable position. And, you know, it's a quick decision by Jim Vandermeer to finish his check. He's got to try and hold up there. You see Skilly just turning at the last second. His face goes into the glass. This angle, well, maybe it's just the side of his head into the glass. That's all it takes now, though. And, you know, I think if you have to ask yourself the question, should I finish my check on this guy or shouldn't I? You just don't finish your check anymore, because the NHL is getting a lot stricter, a lot tougher on hits like that. And it's better just to shy away.
And Seabrook left it for Marian Hossa. Seabrook unloads, tip, and it deflected up and out of play.
Talking with Brent Seabrook this morning, really noticed his long outlet passes, and boy, he is connected on 5 or 6 of them. I'm talking about 150 and 150-foot variety, and he said, well, you know, the last few years I've been trying cross-ice passes. Now I'm noticing guys open on the other side of the red line, and that's a tough thing to do. You know, obviously the 15, 20-foot pass is a very easy pass for everyone to see. It's when you're looking a couple of zones away and you can put it tape to tape that you're showing your skill, and that man, Seabrook, certainly has that.
Plenty of it. The kind of play that could, if it's not completed, turn momentum the wrong way in a hurry as well. So you're right, he's done it a lot, and almost all the time has been able to complete the pass. Not an easy one to make at all. Gilbert here sandwiched in the corner. Hossa trying to pry it free. He will. Seabrook held it in. Now Taves to Hossa. Sharp's one-timer, foot off Hobby Bullen. Oh, Sharp moved to an open ice and got a perfect pass. Hossa now dropped it to Sharp. Another shot. Good save by Hobby Bullen. Nikolai Hobby Bullen has given up 3 goals in the first half of the game. And incredibly has kept his team in it. I mean, this could be 7-0 right here. Seabrook takes a look. Is rink wide picked off by Everly. Hits the line. Now a one-timer from Orkov missed.
Gotta be aware of Everly. He's got 2 short-handed goals as a rookie. He's always a threat when he's got the puck.
The Blackhawks have outshot Edmonton 28-6 in the first half of this game. He did well to keep that in. And Hemsky came up with it. Hemsky trying to fight through a couple of checks. He did, but couldn't pull the triggers. Can't save another shot. And a save by Turco. He didn't know he had it, but Penner started to raise his stick thinking he had scored a shorty. No. And a big crowd roar from the crowd, Stevie, for a shot on goal.
Yeah. Well, he basically jumps on this one. Going down in the butterfly, gets caught under his pads, down at the other end. Boy, does Hobby Bullen ever have Patrick Sharp's number. In his wheelhouse, a quick shot. He fights it off with his arm. A little later on, it's a quick one. That time in the butterfly, made the pad stop. Patrick Sharp has gone 8 games now without a goal. And he's had lots of great opportunities tonight.
They've said for many, many years, you really worry if the chances aren't there. Chances have been there. Deep fire, and they'll go in. Here's Vandermeer. And a save by Turco, and he held it. With both teams back at full strength now, and the Hawks with a 3-goal advantage.
Take a look at our Kia drives to the net, and it's Jonathan Toews early, and it's Jonathan Toews off, and here he is just paying the price in front, sticking with it. A little lucky here on the power play off of Gilbert's skate, and that's a goal shooter's goal right there. Nice drop pass from Kane, and he beats him cleanly on the glove. 22nd hat trick this year. That is
That's an offside play.
Take a look at that stat one more time. A lot of hat trick scores this year in the NHL. There was one earlier tonight, making Jonathan Toews the 22nd. This is most in the NHL at this point in the season since the 94-95 season. Which is kind of surprising because goal scoring down a little bit from last year, but not the hat trick goes.
Here's Hossa, going to have a 2-on-1 with Sharp again. Sharp shoots one. Tonight's one of those nights.
You should have seen his reaction. He just kind of looked up into the stands. And
I was sure he was going to pass that. He said, you know, my stick's not hot tonight, but the play, and now you can, after the whistle, he just went with both hands to the side of his head. Why I oughta.
Yeah, well, you know what? A great play. Another turnover by Edmonton, and he's looking, and he realizes he can't pass, so he shoots, and just a little too high off target. That's a guy who had 10 goals in his first 11 games. Led the league in scoring. Was dropped off a bit since then.
Keep it in, but it winds up back in the neutral zone to Toews. It's an offside play if he touches it again, and that's what happens.
Well, text Taser to BHawks. That's 242957 to join Blackhawks mobile and be entered to win an autographed jersey signed by Blackhawks captain Jonathan Toews. That's Taser to 242957.
Center, and it's back to Peckham. With Jones chasing for it, looks to center. Turco sticks it aside. Fires it off the boards. Here comes Bickle. He's got some room. Gets into the zone. Bickle wants Skilly, then shoots. And it's deflected off Hobby Bull and out of play.
Hobby Bull got a little piece of it. Bickle's got a great release. Real good shot. Had a great start to this NHL season when he had 2 goals in his first 2 games. He's only had 1 in the last 15. You see him keep on his feet after that hit by the defenseman. 2-on-1. He looks off the decoy, decides to shoot, and I don't think was real happy with the result. That might have even gone off the knob of Nikolai Hobby-Bull.
Quickly, you know, again, another example of defense leading to offense. Sean Bell's wrister was soaked up by Turco. I mean, he did good board work. The puck comes to him at center ice. Off he goes, Brian Bickle, but it started with contact. A good hit for him along the boards, and played only 11 and a half minutes against Anaheim the other night, but was credited with 6 hits. Guys like Bickle and Brouwer, when they are doing those kinds of things, it's less important if the points aren't coming. Quite often those will lead the points, but their physical presence has to be in evidence. Everly against Tullamore. Drop pass picked off by Pisani. Pisani got help from Brian Campbell. Kopetsky going back to the line, was hammered to the ice after he did that by Foster. Now Kopetsky back in the play. Brouwer checked by Foster. Kopetsky with it. His shot is off the mark. Brouwer takes over. Roy Brouwer helped by Brian Campbell. should say, point. Shot it back the other way. Taken by Ryan Whitney. He turns it over to Hossa. Sharp wants Hossa. The pass was behind him. And it's cleared back to the Hog zone. Good feed. Good feed. And here comes Patrick Sharp. Sharp to the line. Hossa couldn't quite hold up. And the offside whistle sound.
Time now for our Harris Bank check replay. And as you mentioned, Pat, Curtis Foster getting all of Thomas Kopetsky. Watts behind the net. Kopetsky with a little juke, but Curtis Foster doesn't bite for it. Follows through on his hit. Knocks Kopetsky to the ice.
Curtis Foster, who a couple of years ago in the American Hockey League played their All-Star game. In the skills competition, shot a puck over 100 miles an hour. We told you the Oiler power play, that's what they'd like to set up. Let Foster unload. He can really bring it. Tall shot, bounce loose off a leg. Bell with a whiff. But Rick Tocchet, who used to coach in Tampa Bay, was talking about Curtis Foster. He said, that's an ankle breaker. You try to block his shot, or you go stand in front of the net when he's teeing it up. You've got some guts.
Well, Shea Weber's done that to his teammates.
Yes, he has.
I think he's broken 4 of his own teammates' bones just through shots in practice.
5.5 remaining in the second period. The shots are 29-9. Favoring the Hawks. Kane, a nice move, gains the zone. He's going to look to the late man. He fired it just by rebound. Kane tried to bank it in from behind the goal line, but Javi Bullen had the pad in the right spot. Now Kane from the corner. Left it for Taves. Checked by Horkoff. Patrick Kane takes over. Left it for Chalmerson. Taves. Wants Kane. Trying to pass it to himself, but it rolled to Javi Bullen. He turns it over to Taves, whose shot seemed to flutter. And then Brulé starts the Oilers back. Hemsky trying to get away from Chalmerson. Not this time. Heavy collision in the corner. Held in by Vandermeer. Taves. Now cleared back in behind. Jones to the Oilers. Back around. Chalmerson able to clear it.
Fans booing here. The Edmonton Oilers forward, I think it might be Brulé. Got clipped with a stick. Might have been Brent Seabrooks.
Jock trying to lower his shoulder. Could not get to the net against Chalmerson. Jock's a big guy, about 220, and couldn't get away from Nick Chalmerson. Now Colin Fraser tees it up, and his shot blocked by Seabrook. Pickle starts back. Vandermeer. Now spins to the board. Knocked off his stick, and Sealy chopped it out of there.
Good job by Jason Cullen while one-on-one, not giving Vandermeer any room. He picked his pocket.
Agliano sends it deep. Roy Power let it jump loose in the corner. Taken by Foster. He tried to pass one. Good stick, Kopetsky. PRB. Looks for Everly. Jordan Everly to PRB. Didn't get anything on that shot. But hit somebody out in front. Comes off the boards here. PRB got that one of that. Good save. Turco. Rebound. Cogliano trying to center. Shot hit the side of the goal from Everly. Everly. PRB. And it was knocked away and out of the zone. That might have been the best shift of the game for the Oilers tonight. Hawks are going to get a penalty. And as they control the whistle sound. First extended period of time for the Oilers in the offensive zone this evening. They should get some more here in a moment. They'll go to the power play when we come back.
Friday, the Blackhawks look to put out the Flames as they battle Calgary in the Great White North. Tune in as the Hawks hope to stay strong on the road. Blackhawks Flames, Friday night at 8 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Before we went to break, it was Troy Brouwer, an inadvertent stick between the legs of the Edmonton forward. He gets a tripping call. Edmonton on the power play.
Gagne kicked it back to the line. Foster rolled it up the boards. The Hall ring wide. Here's a one-timer. Got saved by Turco. His best in the game to deny Whitney. Now Gagne taken away by Seabrook, clearing.
That was real good anticipation by Marty Turco, because as Whitney was winding up, he was sliding across, took away the bottom of the net, made the routine pad save.
Turco out to play. This one wants to clear it himself. He did. Now Whitney with 75 for the Oiler power play. Bernier rings it around. Picked up by Sharp, and he bounced it out. The race is on. Dowell's going to get to it. Dowell in, short-handed, shooting at the goal post. Jake Dowell beat Javi Bull into the glove, but hit the goal post. Now is a chance for Sharp. He's going to get in short-handed. The deke, he scores! Patrick Sharp, at long last, can celebrate a goal after a bucket full of chances earlier. He finishes that shorty for love.
And a pretty selfless play, too, by Jake Dowell, who had his own great chance earlier. Rang it off the post. He stays with it, gives it up to Patrick Sharp. He should pick up the lone assist on their shorthanded goal. And Patrick Sharp, who's had about 6 shots, maybe won't get an assist. Jake Dowell chopped that puck off of Foster. Foster kind of lost it, went right to Patrick Sharp. And he deked Nikolai Javibulin into tomorrow. Fake forehand, brought it back on his backhand and put it back in forehand. 4-0 Hawks.
8 games without a goal for Patrick Sharp. Just 4 assists over that stretch. And a shorty for Sharpie. The Oilers continue with a power play. Everly, it has a minute left on it. And less than a minute in the period. Agliano had his pass tipped up into the air. Good stick by Pisani. Everly gains the line. Vandermeer, power play time here for the Oilers. Boy, Steve, your point earlier. Jimmy Vandermeer's playing on the power play. You're a little bit thin on the blue line. And Jimmy's a great guy and a terrific competitor and a good teammate. And if he's on this particular special team, that's, I would say, an indictment. As the period winds down, the penalty over, and both teams are back at full strength. And the Blackhawks have had 31 shots in the first 40 minutes. Just 12 for the Edmonton Oilers. Patrick Sharp breaking an 8-game goal-scoring drought with his 11th tally of the season. And all Chicago to open up the road trip here tonight.
Blackhawks hockey on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Allstate, dollar for dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate. Chicago's own good hands. And by Chevy, drive what Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane drive. Visit your local Chevy dealer.
Welcome back to Rexall Place. A dominant 40 minutes for the Chicago Blackhawks. They've outshot the Oils 31-12. They've outscored them 4-love. Assistant coach Mike Kitchen, I'm sure, is really happy with what he's seen in the first 40. But, Kitch, it's a very important road trip. Obviously, you don't want to get away from good habits. Is that sort of what was stressed in the intermission here?
Absolutely, Pat. I mean, that's the number one point we said. They're going to be cheating here, and if we play good defensive hockey, we're going to get our chances here.
Mike, you get an opportunity now to see Jonathan Taves up close and personal, game in, game out, even in practices. What do you know about him that maybe you didn't know before?
Well, I didn't realize the work ethic he had, like shift to shift and game to game. I mean, he just goes every time his skates go on the ice there. He's just it's 100%, you know, and it's something that as a coach you don't have that appreciation watching that on TV, you know, and then you watch him in practice there. He gives it all. He makes his teammates better too because he says, "Look, boys, just follow me. I'll show you the way."
He is a perfectionist, and I know that. Don't play golf against him because he wants to make every shot perfect and make every putt, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. Well, we got a big period here, and we got to make sure we win the period and not give up anything. That's, I think, the most important for us. Just play a good, sound period and attention to detail.
All right, kids, bring him home.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Devin Dubnyk comes on to replace Nikolai Habibulin, who was under siege in the first 40 minutes of play. So this youngster who has not played a lot for the Oilers, this is his fourth appearance of the season. We'll get a chance here in the third period, which is underway, and Gagne is pressured by Bolin, who forced it loose. Gilbert takes over for the Oilers and clears it to the Chicago line. Point there, but that pass off the mark, and Gagne dumps it in. Point. A good feed attempt. Bolin unable to field it, and now the Oilers reorganize. Whitney for Hall. Good strip by Kane. Ahead for Sharp. Patrick Sharp-Christer fought off by Dubnyk. Now back to Seabrook. His long shot never got through. It bounced to Taves. Looking to center. Dubnyk a good stick that time. The Oilers able to clear it out. That one floats out of play, though, into the Chicago bench.
Well, Nicholas Hjalmarsson having a strong game tonight. I've really been impressed with the Blackhawks defensemen and their breakouts. And Pat, you've made mention a number of times of passes up the middle, tape to tape, and they haven't spent a lot of time in their own zone as a result. Real clean breakouts, and something we saw a lot of last year, leads to puck possession in the other team's zone. The clean breakouts helps your overall game.
Here's Nick Hjalmarsson, who came into the game at -9. He's a +3 in the first two periods tonight. Hjalmarsson moved it ahead, and Stallberg will just barely get it outside. Seabrook. Taves hit by Peckham, but Kane carried on. Seabrook now along wrister, handled by Dubnyk.
Dubnyk, believe it or not, even though he doesn't have a win on the year, a .921 save percentage.
Third period is brought to you by Prestone. When you own it, Prestone it. And Dowell kicks it loose. Here's Bickle. Strike one. Back to Cullimore, whose whiskers deflected up off the glass. Now trying to center. Dubnyk broke that up, and Everly comes away. Bickle on the turnover, carries it back in, fires, scores! Brian Bickle with a bullet. He had a goal and assist in his last 3 games. He just blew it by Dubnyk there. 5-0.
Brian Bickle with a strong performance tonight. Good work along the boards. You know, a power forward, what do? Well, you skate north to south, you put your head down and you blast it. That's exactly what he did. Beats Dubnyk cleanly on the glove side. He's got a lot of torque in that stick when he leans on it. So somebody besides the first two lines getting involved, and it's Brian Bickle.
The Chicago goal scored by number 29, Brian Bickle. The assist is for 20 Chance.
Now, Hemsky jammed it loose.
1 minute 58
Alex
seconds.
Hemsky. Get it away from Kopecky. You know, there's a perfect example, Stevie, right there. In talking to several Edmonton folks this morning, including General Manager Steve Tambellini and a couple of their players in the locker room after their skate. And we told you this earlier. They've been getting not only beat, but lit up here quite often lately. I mean, some scores 7-2. I mean, just really one-sided affairs where they've not been really in the hunt. My question to the Edmonton folks was, when it starts going south during a game, I mean, it's a young team, and what happens? Do they lay back? Do they give up? Are they that fragile mentally? And really, you know what the common answer was? It's not anything about giving up. It's most of these guys who have been so good as kids and playing in junior hockey the last couple of years, they were good enough that when their team was in trouble, they could just go take the game over. They could beat a couple of guys up the ice and get a good scoring chance and probably score a goal. Well, at this level, it's not going to work that way. And I just watched that last center ice turnover. A guy trying to beat two guys, but it's just not going to. There's Hall trying to go one-on-one with Point. Now, he didn't have any options right there, but still, that's sort of what has started to befall this team when it starts going south. And then when you turn the puck over there at the neutral zone, your own blue line, I mean, the snowball effect becomes an avalanche. And so that was really the common answer that came from 4 or 5 different Edmonton people, some of their players, some of their management folks, and it's a difficult thing to have to learn. It's a painful lesson you have to learn as a young NHL player.
Well, exactly right. They revert to being individuals, and that's what they were growing up. Watch this.
Pass by Taves. Kane unable to get it through a stick. Seabrook gave it back to Taves. Chalmerson's long one into the glove of Dubin.
You see, and that's what makes Jonathan Taves so different, because even growing up as a youngster, playing at North Dakota, you know, as true leaders do, made sure that it was the team first, the individual second. And you know, just talking to Mike Kitchen between periods, so amazed at how hard he works every time his skates hit the ice. And I love the description, and I love, obviously, the way he plays tonight. You know, just talking to him this morning, he was real excited. You know why he was excited? He said the ice was like outdoor ice. And Pat, you played on outdoor ice before. It's different than regular ice. And he goes, the ice here seems like you're playing outside. And he was just real excited about that.
Well, for years, players all around the league have loved coming into Edmonton for that reason. The ice here is always great. Stays solid for the great majority of every period. It has always been a tremendous plus to come here. I mean, and that dates back even to when they had a team with 6 Hall of Famers on it. You might come in here and get beat 7-3, but players always love coming to play on this ice surface. It's a terrific facility. It's a great ice plant. Apparently they have, and of course, it snowed last night. It's pretty frosty here in Alberta. In fact, we're going to Calgary after the game tonight, and apparently they got 7 inches yesterday.
15 centimeters, yeah, that's 7 inches.
Well, good. I'm glad you translated that for me. I'm not so good with the inches or feet. Here's Campbell looking to step in. Long one is blocked. Tries to get the loose puck and did. Put it back to Cullimore. Why not try one himself? And that one didn't get through either. Here's Campbell. Opetsky. Moved it for Brouwer. And his center one came back to him. Brouwer's shot is off a leg to Hemsky. Brule looks to get to the middle. He's straightened up by Troy Brouwer.
Brouwer let up a little bit there, and I was glad to see it, because he really could have railroaded Brule. He still knocked him down, but it could have been a lot worse.
Marian Hossa, who led the Blackhawks forwards in ice time through 2 periods, which he had the most ice of anybody in the last game against Anaheim. And his forward, I should say. Here's Taylor Hall for the Oilers. Hey! Gagne in behind Kenner. And nobody at the front of the net to even look to. Foster's long one into the glove of Turco. 7 minutes have been played here in the 3rd period. And Edmonton turnover leads to a Brian Bickle tally, 5 gloves.
Time now for our Ford great save. Take you back to later in that second period on the power play. Ryan Whitney, a one-timer. Marty Turco hasn't had to make a lot of stops, but that was his best so far.
So Turco with 13 shots on goal against him up till now. It figures, and again, everything is always subject to change in pro sports. It figures he will play 4 games. As the puck is dumped into the Oilers zone, it comes to Nick Point. He sends it ahead. Kane going rink wide. There's Keith with a shot. Dubnyk saw that all the way. Now Stallberg to Kane to Keith. Here's Stallberg off the board. Trying to find Taves, but it missed him. Goes to Gilbert. And now Hall. Gagne racing in on point. Henner. And away by Patrick Kane. Now Duncan Keith. He missed Kane with a pass. It'll go the length for icing here against Chicago.
Victor Stallberg with the game-winning goal in overtime their last game out against Anaheim. And talking to him this morning, he heaped a lot of praise on assistant coach Mike Kitchen. Said Kitch has worked an awful lot with him in practice, staying out later, shooting pucks. And I asked him what exactly, and he said, well, accuracy, quick release, and shooting with a purpose. He said so many guys just shoot pucks to get them on net. Kitch really stresses to shoot with a purpose. Try to make the goalie either make a tough save or look for an opening. That's something he's been concentrating on, and obviously rewarded.
It was his second game-winning goal of the year for Stallberg. One Blackhawk has more as the puck is cleared back into the... There's another icing call coming up here against Chicago.
Fans, voting has started for the 2011 NHL All-Star Game. Be sure to visit ChicagoBlackhawks.com and help send your favorite Blackhawks to Raleigh, North Carolina. Voting ends on January 2nd. And remember, vote early and vote often.
Patrick Sharp, by the way, with 3 game-winning goals to his credit. Stolberg now with 2. Point. Help from Skilly, who bounced it and didn't get out. Got a good stick by Bickley. Lifted Cogliano's blade just as he was ready to tee it up. Skilly at the other end, sticked away by Dubnyk. Skilly got it back. Into the corner, Dowell. Cullimore, a long shot, never got to the net. And the Oilers start back. Yarby throws it into Cogliano's corner, but Cullimore will get there first. 9 minutes gone by here in the third. 41-13, the Chicago shooting edge. Yarby, maybe one pass too many. And he's checked. Campbell looks to clear. It's held in. Gilbert or Yarby in the corner. Gilbert across to Whitney. Rink wide. Here's a shot. Fought off by Turco on Yarby's mid. Cassani comes up the ice. Ando Cassani. Taken away by Whitney. Now cleared in deep. Cassani dismissed. Brouwer with a pass attempt. Goes Chalmerson. Here's Boland. Brouwer. Back pressure from Hall, forced the puck free. Here's Dustin Penner. Went down with a blowout at center. Hosts on the counterattack to Sharp. Tees it up. Dubnyk makes the save.
Maybe Boland helped start that. I think he got a piece of Penner knocking him down.
Hall on a stick handling, shooting. Got rid of a good shot. A better save by Turco. And here comes Hossa the other way. Hossa kind of one-handed around his check, but an opportunity Hjalmarsson trying to spring a counterattack. The Oilers were changing. Big point. Give it to Jonathan Toews. Toews going wide on Foster. Oh, center one to Stolberg, whose shot was partially blocked. Stolberg gets it back. Foster cleared it out. Jones dumped it in. Now Gilbert for the Oilers.
Stolberg's been really good in the offensive zone, getting the loose pucks, and something that Joe Flynn will talk about this morning, the improvement of Stolberg and where he plays without the puck.
Turn over to Dahl, and Dubnyk had to come out to challenge that. Everly in on Tullamore, turns deep. Whitney had his shot deflect. Now Pagliano dropped it to Whitney. Put it across, the longer shot never got through. And Skilly the other way has a 3-on-2. Skilly pulls up, put it across. Oops. Gets behind Bickle into a problem, and here come the Oilers. Everly, good stick. Hjalmarsson bouncing puck. Tipped away by Hjalmarsson again.
That was huge. Could have been a 3-on-1, and he broke it up before anything materialized.
5-0 in favor of the Hawks, who have a hat trick from Jonathan Toews. The natural hat trick. He scored the first 3 goals for Chicago tonight. Then a shorty from Sharpie and Ryan Bickle. That's his 4th of the year here in the 3rd period. Couldn't pick it up. Seabrook's long went into the glove of Dubnyk, who will take a whistle with 7 minutes remaining in this one. All Blackhawks to open up their 6-game road trip tonight.
In our Subway Star Tracker at the top of the screen, you see Jonathan Toews' numbers on the night, as Pat alluded to just a little while ago. The natural hat trick, 3 goals, 8 shots on goal, and a dominant force in the faceoff circle, winning 56% of his draws. I like the fact that the Blackhawks have not really changed their game plan. They're still getting pucks in deep, getting on bodies, and really forcing Edmonton and forcing the issue. How to prevent defense.
Now, Pagliano dropped it to Bell. He goes across. Foster's long one just wide. Got a hot bounce on the end board. Goes to Pisani. Icing coming up here against the visitors.
Well, we showed you our U.S. Cellular text message poll question a little earlier. Here are the results so far. And a lot of people going with 4, it looks like. 4 and 5. That's pretty reasonable. Still have time to vote, though, and the final results will be on the Jose Cuervo Blackhawks postgame show.
Kanye flipped it in front, but Brouwer picked it off. Hawks changing. Second back. Point. Let it escape him. Ball into the corner. Back by Dow. Point has it again. Skilly. Back it out of his own. Here's Vandermeer. Ryan Campbell. Jack Skilly. Hawks in 2 nights will be in Calgary, up the road here from Edmonton. At last report, the Flames were losing at home 2-0. Here's Fraser looking to walk in, shooting. Turco makes the save and holds on to it. Five and a half remaining in this game. All Chicago tonight.
Time now for our KFC fan cam.
After 2 Edmonton victories in the United Center, the Hawks having their way with the Edmonton Oilers in the first 55 minutes of the game tonight. Here's Patrick Sharp. Going to fight through a check from Belly. He's had his pass deflect. And back come the Oil. Payarby to get away from Campbell. Everly hacked at it. It goes to Sharp, getting it out. Now it's cleared to Jordan Everly. Payarby to the corner. Hit hard by Boland, who straightened him up along the boards. Then a turnover by Host. A quick shot goes wide. And it's held in by Packham.
Boland will make you pay the price. He's had 2 pretty good hits in this period. And if you've got your head down and he's in the vicinity, he'll make you pay.
He's going to get hit by Jacques, but then it's carried on by Taves. To Campbell into the zone. Leaving for Kane. Patrick Kane drop pass finds Keith along wrister. Went wide. Picked up by Peckham. The Oilers get it in. Ryan Campbell pressured by Jones, but Keith there to give him an outlet. Patrick Kane with 2 assists in the game. Now circles back. Keith bank pass was behind Kane. Now Argentine hammers this one off the boards. It's going to go the length and will be icing against Chicago.
Our Hyundai road ahead upcoming schedule after Edmonton. The team will leave tonight and head off to Calgary, who made a minor trade today. And as you mentioned, Pat, losing tonight. Then it's to the hated Vancouver Canucks, and they finish up in California, San Jose, Anaheim, and LA.
Now Sean Bell. Dumps it to center ice. Everly. Shot go off the leg. Troy Brouwer. Taken away by Payarby. In behind. Everly went down. Hjalmarsson takes possession. And Pisani able to get it out. Kopecky. Across to Hjalmarsson. His long blast is handled by Dubnyk. And now Foster is going to be aggressive with Pisani, who is doing what he's supposed to do, stand in front of the net.
With 2:39 to go in the hockey game. Yeah, exactly. And just getting back to this road trip, Pat, and you kind of mentioned it earlier, the importance that these kinds of trips can have. And last year, they went on an 8-game winning streak, actually won 4 games at home before they went on the road. And of note, the 4 games they won on the road, 1 here and 1 in Calgary, they went to Vancouver, won, then they went into San Jose, and it was a San Jose team they'd beaten at home. San Jose thought they were lucky to beat them. They beat them 7-2 at the Shark Tank. And I remember talking to the coaching staff at the end of last year after the playoffs. They said that was a turning point in the season. At that point, a lot of people thought the San Jose Sharks were the cream of the crop, the best team in the NHL. Chicago went in there and waxed them, and the team obviously got a lot of confidence off of that win.
A chance for Vandermeer, but a good shot block by Dowell. I mean, it really is, I said this earlier, it's remarkable how many times the results of this Thanksgiving trip can dictate how your team's going to finish. It certainly does not always happen that way. But it's happened that way more often than it has not in the last 30 years.
Well, the other thing, too, is you're winning on the road. You're having a good time, and you're going to get a lot closer when things are going well. And that's what happened last year. You're on an 8-game winning streak. There's not too many bad things happening in the world.
Kamenev to recommend to our great producer, Mike Leary, that in honor of the circus trip, he had circus music playing at the start of our broadcast. Let's go with that in Calgary, too. Here's Stallberg going wide on Gilbert. Stallberg, and that's another thing that Quenneville was talking about this morning with Victor Stallberg. His puck protection has really improved. He likes what he's been doing away from the puck. Of course, what's noticeable is the speed and the size when he's around the puck. But we've got a penalty coming up off the play. There's a Stallberg might have gotten a high stick, or a Boland, I'm sorry. And Vandermeer is sent off.
I think Boland was just finishing a check. Stick of Vandermeer came out, so came up. The Blackhawks will finish the last 123 on the power play unless they score. Tom Rennie's got to be disappointed. You know, 4 losses in a row on the road. You come home, you think you got the fans behind you. You got a couple of new faces in the lineup. Maybe you see a little more energy. But, you know, they had a couple chances early. It might have been a different story had they been able to score. But after that, it was all Blackhawks.
70 seconds remaining. Now Kopetsky looking to get in with a backhand shot and a save by Dubnyk. Like what Quenneville's doing here, sharing the power play time with guys who don't ordinarily get it. Keith with a long blast. Dubnyk stopped the rebound, hacked wide by Pisani. Now Kopetsky in behind for Brouwer. He'll find Ryan Campbell. Duncan Keith. Kopetsky. Keith. Now Campbell. To Brouwer. Campbell to Kopetsky. The pass was intended for Kopetsky in the back door. Picked off by Whitney.
Yeah, good read by Ryan Whitney. Whenever you pass it through the penalty-killing box, you normally get a pretty good look. And that's what the Blackhawks were trying to do, and picked off by Whitney.
That's a hand pass for a whistle. So for Joel Quenneville, I'm not sure things could have gone a lot better than they did tonight. They played a team that might have been a little bit fragile mentally, and they were on their game, the Blackhawks, right from the start tonight. And the captain led the way. He had a lot of help, certainly in the contest, but he was the guy who scored 2 late first period goals, added another in the third, and the Oilers fans giving it to their team. And Marty Turco, 3 times earlier this year, had given up 1 goal as a Blackhawk. He has his first ever shutout in Chicago with the Indian head on his sweater. It's his 41st career whitewash, an 18-save shutout to backstop the Blackhawks tonight.